Hello friends, welcome to JavaEE Servlet tutorial. So this is a part 2 of error handling. In this video we are going to look at how to handle exception in Java Servlet. So the IDE here is Eclipse and we use Wildfly 10.1 as the middleware server. Just like any other programming language, we use the try block. So if you suspect that some piece of code will raise exception, then we have to place that inside the try block. Then inside the catch block, we can handle the exception. So here we just kept exception, but you can actually handle even more specific exception. Here exception is the base class, but you can even handle a specific exception like file not found, array index out of bound, etc. So as usual, you can use here e.getMessage. So this will return a string and you can use this string to send the response output. So this will indicate the browser what kind of exception occurred. So if you want to print the stack trace, you can use the same exception object. So it can be any exception object. e dot So here you can pass the output stream object. Actually, this one will be. So we know that response.getWriter will return a printWriter object. So that printWriter object you can pass here. So e.print stack trace, and if you pass the printWriter object, this printWriter object will take care of sending the stack trace to the browser window. So here in this example, what we will do, we will create a HTML form. So we will create a HTML form. These two fields are a text field and these two both are submit button. So we can have two submit button. So anyhow, at the time user is going to click one button only, but even though these two are submit button, they will go to a same servlet. Say if it is x.java, both will submit the request to x.java. So the button will be submit, but value we will change. So one is multiply and another one is divide, and our servlet based on this value knows what action to perform. So to perform the action, it needs it's a binary operation, right? Multiply or divide. So it needs two operand, so that it will take from these two text field. All right, now let's go to Eclipse Demo. First, let us open the Eclipse IDE. So these two are from our previous example. So I'm just closing this. So there are 4 servlets at this moment. There are 3 HTML files. Now we will create one more HTML file. So expand your web project, then right click on web content, then click new HTML file. First we will open a form tag inside the body. So method is post and action is taking place in handle exception demo. So that's the servlet we are going to create. So inside the form tag we create a two input control. This just a h3 two input control. So type is text for both, and name if you see number 1 and number 2. Value we are providing a default value of 0. Next we add two submit buttons. Name if you see we are providing a same name for the submit button. We say action for first button and the second button also action, and both are same type submit, but they differ based on the value. So when servlet asks for a name using the get URL, I mean the get parameter, so we supply name as action. So value, it will be either multiply or divide. User can, when the form is rendered, user can click multiply or they can click divide because both are button. So whatever button they click, multiply or divide, so since it is here inside the form and type is submit, the action takes place in the same servlet. So now when this input goes to servlet, servlet will know which submit button is clicked. So when it asks for get parameter and it supplies the name as action, value will be multiply or divide based on which button user clicked. So based on the return value, the servlet will take the appropriate action. So to perform multiply or divide, so these two are binary operator, binary operation, so it needs two operand that will be supplied by these two text fields. So now our HTML form is ready. Now we will go to servlet implementation. Before that we will start this Wildfly. So you can see Wildfly is started. So our servlet example, this web project, which is also already in the started state. So if we are running this example for the first time, so you can right click here after starting the server, then you can click on add and remove. Then you can select a specific web project which you want to publish. Here I want to publish servlet examples, so I'm clicking add here. So now servlet examples is configured to run on this Wildfly server. Now I'm clicking finish, and you can see the message Wildfly server deployed servlet example.var. Alright, now we will run our error response exception log.html. So this is our HTML form, and you can see these two are input field. and there are two operation, and here you can see the action takes place on that particular servlet handle exception demo. All right, now we will close this. So now we will create our servlet. So under our web project, I'm just expanding the Java resources, then expanding src. So this is the package. I'm right clicking the package, then choosing new servlet. Now we will create our servlet, expand the servlet examples, then inside Java resource src package. So I'm right clicking the package and choosing a new servlet. Here we are naming this servlet as handle exception demo. Then I'm clicking next, click next again, and we will override only do post, click on finish. And if you see, when I gave the servlet name, I gave the same name, handle exception demo. So the servlet is created. Or if you gave a different name, then you have to change your action URL and specify the exact servlet name here. Now let's do some cleanup code here. Next we declare the variables required for this servlet. So we know that our HTML form contains two text field. So user will enter two numbers in the text field, and we will collect that in n1 and the n2 variables. So this result is to store the result of the operation. So this operation here is multiply or divide. So we will perform that operation and store that in result. String action, this is to hold which action is selected by the user. Next we get the printWriter object and we set the content type. So from response we are getting the printWriter, and the printWriter is from java.io. Next we are setting content type as a text or HTML. Next we will get the user input. So we want to know the two number and which action user want to perform. So we use the get parameter method, and if you see from request we are choosing get parameter number 1. So this will return the value entered by user in first text field. This one will return the value entered by user in the second text field. So this will return string. That's why we are making use of integer.parseInt. So this is just normal Java. So using that parseInt method, we store the value entered by user in n1 and n2. Then action, we are using the get parameter, and name we are supplying action. And if you see, both the type have the same action. So if user click the multiply button, the request body, since it's a post, request body will have action as multiply. So if user click the multiply, action will have multiply as the value. So now here user can enter a string also mistakenly, so that time the parseInt will fail. So now we will try the exception. So now our exception block is ready. So if you see here, we already have the out object, that means printWriter. We are using that printWriter here to state invalid number, and we are also printing the call stack, and if you see from exception object itself, we are making call to print stack trace, and we are handing over our print writer to this print stack trace function. So this print stack trace function will make use of this print writer object, and it writes out the stack trace line by line to the browser. Since it's a out for the print writer for the response, the whatever the print stack trace function writes goes to the web browser. Next, we will perform the multiply and divide operation. And if you see inside try, we already took the action. See, the from request object we already have the action. Now the action will have either multiply or divide. So based on that, we are forming the switch case and we are performing the operation. Now we can go to the catch block. So we can use the same code, but only the message will be different. Division by 0 error. And next, the same way here we are printing the call stack, right? The same way here also we are printing the call stack. So if you see, when everything is okay, then we will use the same out object to print the result. One thing, if you notice here, since this is just for a demo purpose, here we are not using the HTML head, title, all those stuff. So we are directly started using the tags h3, h2 like that. So for just for demo, this is enough. All right, now we will clear this. Clean. So build automatically is already there. Anyhow, I'm just doing the rebuild again. Then first we will stop this already published instance. Then we will remove this also. So it states undeployed. Anyhow, okay, I think I clicked restart. So we can do restart also, but it is always good habit to remove and re-add. Okay, anyhow. So if our deployment is huge, then at that time you can do remove and re-add. Since this is just a simple project with some 5 or 6 servlet, I'm just going for full publish. So now we are seeing an deployed here. You can always verify started and synchronized is there in both your web project as well as the Wildfly. So both are in started and synchronized state. Now we will go to our HTML. So if you see, if I give you a valid value 5, 15, 3, 45, so that works fine. And if I click divide, I will get 5. But now I'm giving 15 2 dot t. So now if I click multiply, we will get the exception. So This time the exception will be thrown here in the parseInt itself. So we will get invalid number, then a stack trace. And if you see it shows an invalid number, then we are getting call stack. After that, this is the output of print stack trace function call. So we call this on the exception object, and we hand over print writer to the print stack trace function. So that function will take care of producing this exception message. All right. So here in the you are seeing a result is 0, right? If you want to stop that message, then you can use the set status or send error functions, which we saw in the previous video. Let me run this again. So this time I'm giving a 23 and 0. Now multiply won't throw any exception. Let's go back, but divide will throw division by 0 exception. So divide error. So java.lang.arithmetic exception, and exception message is divide by 0 at, then it shows the call stack. So you saw a demo of how we used n1 and n2 two number to perform multiply and divide. Here in the try block we saw two try catch block. In one try catch we used it to trap the parseInt, and in another try catch when we perform the binary operation multiply and divide, that time also we used a try catch to catch the arithmetic exception. So then we logged the so get message we haven't used, we hard coded it. Actually you can use get message also to dynamically print the error, but if you remember in the example we used the out object and we said invalid number within double quotes. That means we hard coded it, but get message is a good one that you can use. After that we used a print stack trace, and you saw how it printed the call stack information in the browser. That's all here in this video. Thank you for watching. Bye.